Do 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 do. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Buffalo SportsCenter video. I am Don, and today we are going to discuss every single one of the Buffalo Sabres draft picks from their 2023 draft class. Let me just preface this by saying this was an absolutely phenomenal draft from Kevyn Adams, Jerry Forden, and company. They knocked it out of the park once again. Specifically revamping their defensive prospect pipeline that was severely lacking in the last season or so, and it was clear given the amount of left shot defensemen the Sabres had compared to their right shot defensemen. I thought Kevyn Adams did an adequate job balancing that line between picking the best player available and also picking for need. They did a little bit of both here and there throughout the draft, and that was actually pretty apparent when the Sabres drafted with their first pick in this draft. Their first choice was right winger Zach Benson of Winnipeg in the WHL. Yes, that same Winnipeg Ice that Matt Savoy plays for, and the one that Peyton Krebs also played for a couple of years ago. And I can't tell you enough how much I love this pick. Zach Benson is going to be an absolute stud. He has a great shot. He has great IQ on the ice, even when he doesn't have the puck. His defensive game is so developed for a player his age. It is absolutely crazy that this guy, Benson, continuously outplayed Matt Savoy last season. And don't get me wrong, Matt Savoy is really good. He had 93 points. Imagine outplaying a guy, your teammate, that scored 93 points. Benson had a little bit more with 96, but his amazing speed, his great shot, his phenomenal IQ, his great vision on the ice when setting up plays in the offensive zone, he has it all. He has the markings to become a star, top six winger for the Sabres a couple years down the line. Now, with him being added to the fold, I do think the Sabres are going to make a move, ship out one of their outside forward prospects, maybe Noah Ostlund. Who knows? That's what the rumor mill has been floating around lately as the Sabres continue to look for a defenseman, but that's in a couple of days. For now, Zach Benson, we can rejoice that he is indeed a Buffalo Sabre. Continuing on now into our day 2 picks, where the majority of these are with the Sabres' second round pick. It came at pick 39, where they selected center Anton Whalberg. Now, at the time, right at the moment this pick was made, I was kind of disappointed. I thought that the Sabres should have gone defenseman, but knowing what happens, not to spoil too much, what happens in 6 picks, I do like this move. Kevyn Adams came out said the day after day 1, which was round 1, that he had tried to trade back and get Whalberg later in the first round, and he was even trying to trade up into the late first round to snag Whalberg. But like Yuri Kulik last year, he couldn't get a team to bite on either trading back or forward. And like Kulik, Anton Whalberg just luckily fell into the Sabres' laps at pick 39. By many, not so much myself per se. I think Whalberg is very good, but a lot of people, a lot of experts had Whalberg going in the first round, late first round, but he was available early in the second round. The Sabres got him. He's a big center, so for all of those Sabres fans out there complaining that the Sabres don't have enough size at forward, Whalberg would definitely intrigue you because he is 6'4". He plays a lot like a power forward, very rugged, very physical. He's a very good two-way center as well. Now, his projection is that he would be a third-line center in the NHL at his max, but so far his offensive stats while playing with the big boys over in Sweden, they're not too bad, and even when he was playing in their junior league over there. So I think Anton Whalberg, it's going to take a couple years for him to come to North America, play his couple seasons with the Amherst and eventually with the Sabres, but I think this is an alright pick. If I were grading it, I'd give it a B, about a B, or Benson would be an A+, Whalberg would probably be a B. Yeah, that feels about right. Now, 6 picks later, I just alluded to but the Sabres came back, and at pick 45 in the second round, they got Maxim Strabak, left shot defenseman, from Sioux Falls in the USHL. Now, Strabak, he's very, very intriguing as a prospect, not only because he's going to actually be staying in America this fall for Sioux Falls. Now, while he played at Sioux Falls, he will be going to Michigan State this fall. I really loved this pick, mainly while he does have some skating concerns. His two-way game is awesome. He is a typical stay-at-home, preferably defenseman. He can join the rush, much like Mattias Samuelsson. And while he doesn't put up this much offensive stats like Samuelsson, I still think he's got a little bit of an offensive flair to him, while also doing a great job clearing the crease. He is absolutely good at that. And there are some gripes with Strabak, mainly that he doesn't create enough in the offensive zone, mainly through seeing out passes on the wing or on the boards or finding guys down in the corners. He does need a little bit more development and not just throwing it to the net or to the corner. But that'll take time. He'll learn that in college. And by the time he arrives at the AHL in probably 2 years or so, maybe 3 years, we'll see, I think that the Sabres fans will be seeing a lot and hearing a lot more of this guy, because he will have grown that part of his game. And I did find this pick along with Whalberg to be a bit of a reach. Both of them were... It's tough because the second round was so wide open today. Well, when I'm recording this, the second round through 7th round happened earlier today. But for all of you watching, I felt that Strabak was a little bit more of the 15th best player in the second round, maybe the 20th. But the Sabres got him at pick 45. It's not too bad. At the end of the day, it's not too bad. I can't really complain about this one. Let's keep on moving now and talk about the local boy who everybody is gushing about on social media if you look on Twitter or Instagram right now, and that is right shot defenseman Gavin McCarthy, who, yes, does play with a lot of a mean streak. And you'll notice that in a lot of the draft picks that Adams selected this year, a lot of these prospects, they're young, they're gritty, they are really mean on the ice, they are nasty, they like to hack and hit. McCarthy fits that bill perfectly. With the Muscogee Lumberjacks, I love saying that name, of the USHL, he was their best offensive defenseman, and I was reading a little bit about the team. They didn't really have a true offensive defenseman. McCarthy was thrown into that role early in the season, and he did quite well, but I wouldn't expect him to continue that role were he to come up to Rochester and then eventually to Buffalo. His ceiling in Buffalo would probably be a third pairing defenseman, maybe a stay-at-home second pair defenseman, although that top 4 D-man role would probably go to a free agent that the Sabres hopefully sign in free agency. For McCarthy, though, I really like this pick. There was a lot of familiarity as well, as McCarthy did play in the Buffalo Junior Sabres system for quite a while, and he was known by Kevyn Adams, of course, because they used to live in the same neighborhood, and they're very interconnected in their lives. So this was a very stay-at-home pick. I felt that it was either the Sabres were going to select Quentin Musty, who went in late in the first round, or Gavin McCarthy. Well, they got McCarthy, and I really do like this pick. This feels like a B+, bordering on A- kind of deal, as he was a little, how do I say, undersized, so a lot of teams overlooked him because of that fact. Let's keep on going now towards the 4th round, where the Sabres selected Ethan Miedema, left winger of the Kingston Frontenacs over in the OHL. And like Tom Wilson of the NHL, Miedema, I'm just going to go with that. I feel like that's the wrong pronunciation, so people, please don't get mad at me for that. I'll try better next time. He is a big-bodied winger. He plays a lot like Tom Wilson. He is very mean. There's that key word again. There's that buzzword. He is physical. Buzzword. He's got big size. Buzzword. He fits the bill for a mean forward for the Buffalo Sabres. He will be nasty. He will be rude. He will get in your face, and yes, he can score a lot of goals. When he was a part of that Shane Wright trade where he was sent to Kingston, Miedema really got it going over there. He had a phenomenal finish to this past season in the OHL. He's proving why he was selected 4th overall in the draft. I believe it was last summer. The OHL draft last summer, he was selected 4th overall. So he was very good this past season. I'm very excited, and I'm surprised that he fell to the 4th round. He felt more like a 3rd round pick to me. But hey, take them where you can get them. Take them W's, Buffalo. And they did so with this pick. Let's keep on moving now to probably the most intriguing pick of the draft. And while I don't believe that Scott Metzlaff will be a starter in the NHL, I do think his ceiling could be a backup to Devin Levi. Like Levi, for goalies, he is undersized. He's only sitting, I believe, at 6'1" or 2. So he's not quite as big as guys like Andrei Vasilevsky or Ben Bishop. But Metzlaff had a phenomenal finish to his past season. He had a .976 percentage in a prospect tournament, I believe. And he was really good too with the Seattle Thunderbirds. Although he didn't play in too many games, only 34, he had very good stats. I think he had a .915 save percentage as well. He is another hybrid goalie who really improved his blocker shot saving skills last season. His glove is venomous. His pads are fast, they're quick, they move a lot, and he has very good reactionary skills. I think, looking back on this draft in years to come, that Metzlaff will be probably the most underrated and underappreciated and most blossoming of these prospects, outside of course, Zach Benson. Metzlaff, I'm really high on. I really like this pick, and it continues a strong streak of selections here for Kevyn Adams. Let's keep on going now into the 6th round, folks, where we got another defenseman for the Sabres. At pick 173, the Sabres got a high school player named Sean KOEHAN of Dexter Southfield. I tried looking this college, or I thought it was a college up, and it turns out they are a boarding school in Massachusetts. He was in high school. That's how young he is, and that's how old I feel right now. He's a very young, decent defensive defenseman that stays at home constantly. Physical, keeps players out of the crease. Doesn't provide too much on the score sheet. I don't know if he ever will see the NHL. He could. Any of these players could. But his chances compared to some of the others in this draft, like Whalberg, Benson, even Gavin, McCarthy, I feel like he's more of a depth prospect that we will probably see in Rochester someday. And finally, to close out this draft for the Sabres, they got another defenseman. This time, NORWIN PANOCHA, right shot defenseman of Eisbären Berlin over in the Deutsche Ice Hockey League there in Germany. He's another right shot defenseman, once again filling out the prospect depth there for Kevyn Adams. He played amongst men and held up pretty well, but I wouldn't, like a couple of these other late round draft picks that we usually see, I don't think he'll ever make it to the NHL, unfortunately. So that is it for this draft. Overall, like I said at the beginning of the video, I thought this was an excellent draft from Kevyn Adams. I would probably give this an A- draft. I was a little underwhelmed by Anton Whalberg. I didn't think he was a high 2nd round draft pick option. I loved the Zach Benson move. I loved Gavin McCarthy, that pick. I loved the Scott Metzlaff pick as well. Ethan Miedema, he's another really strong, probably a B+ draft pick for me as well. Overall, Kevyn Adams, he just keeps knocking it out of the park with these picks. But folks, I want to hear what you think about this draft. Do you think the Sabres did well? They get an A in your book? Did they get a B or C or D or maybe even an F? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. I was Don. This is Buffalo SportsCenter. Hopefully, I see all of you in the next video. But before you leave, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe as well. Follow us on Instagram where you get up-to-date Buffalo sports information and join the Discord. Anyways, I was Don, and I hope to see all of you in the next video. Peace out.